Okay, I'm Lindsay Broaddus, and today I'm going to be doing my neuro assessment. First, I would start with hand hygiene, and I would introduce myself. Hey, I'm Lindsay Broaddus, and I'm a student at South Alabama, and today I'm going to do your neuro assessment. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So first, we'll start with your appearance. Your posture is erect, you're dressed nicely, and you have a good hygiene, and you're well groomed. For behavior, you're alert and oriented. Your facial expressions, you're smiling at me. What else? Have you had any recent episodes of anxiety or depression?
No.
Okay, well, if you were, then I would get the appropriate screening tools for that. So next we're going to go to the orientation. So what's your name?
Kim.
Okay, where are we?
Home.
Okay, and what time of day is it?
Afternoon.
Okay, that is correct. For next, we would go to your recent memory. What is something you ate this morning?
Cereal.
Okay, well, I brought her tray in this morning for her to eat, and she did eat cereal, so I can verify that. And remote memory, we will do who was our previous president before Trump?
Barack Obama.
Okay, that is correct. For reasoning, if I was to tell you it's like looking for a needle in a haystack, what does that mean?
Hard to find.
Yes, that is correct. And now your judgment, where do you see yourself in 2 years?
Still going to work.
Okay, that is correct. And so then next, I would test the cranial nerve 1, the olfactory nerve. If you'll cover one of your nostrils and sniff. Okay, and then do the other one. Okay, good. And now if you'll close your eyes, I'm going to grab 2 scents. And if you'll cover one of your nose holes. Okay, and I'll have you identify the scent.
Peanut butter.
Okay, that is correct. And now if you'll occlude the other nostril.
Alcohol.
Okay, that is correct. Okay, now you can open your eyes. So the cranial nerve 1, the olfactory nerve, is intact. Next we would go to cranial nerve 2, the optic nerve. So normally I would get a Snellen eye chart, and I would hold it 20 feet away from you, and I would interpret your findings on that. But today we do not have that, so I'm going to use my handheld vision screener and hold it 14 feet away. And if you'll read the lowest line possible.
4, 2, 6, 3, 6, 8.
Okay, let me see. So you are 20 over 40, so what you see at 20 feet, a normal person can see at 40 feet. And that is the cranial nerve 2, the optic nerve, and it is intact. So next nerve we would go to is cranial nerve 3, 4, and 6, which is the oculomotor, the trochlear, and the abducens nerve. So first we're going to start with the eyes and make sure that they are equal and round. Okay, if you'll open. Yes, they are equal and round, and I'm going to size them. They are, I would say about a 5, which is normal. And they are equal and round, if I didn't state that. And I need to do the other one to make sure it's bilateral. And again, it's about a 5 as well. So then next, I would make sure that they are reactive to light, both direct and consensual. So, if you will just keep your eyes open. Okay, so direct is there. Now let's do consensual. Yes, and it is consensual. So they are reactive to life, both direct and consensually. So next we would do accommodation. If you'll look at our front door over there. Okay, and then look back at this. Okay, so they did constrict and dilate. So it did accommodate. So next we would do convergence. If you'll watch my pen, just move your eyes. Okay, so the eyes did turn on the axis, so they did converge. And next we would do the 6 cardinal fields of gaze. So if you'll just watch my pen, do not move your head or anything else, just your eyes. Okay, parallel tracking was noted, and there was no nystagmus. So the cranial nerve 3, 4, and 6, the oculomotor, trochlear, and the abducens are all intact. Next, we would go to cranial nerve 5, the trigeminal nerve. And for that, if you'll clench your jaw, well, you can keep your mouth closed. I'm going to palpate. Okay, good. And if you'll resist me pulling your chin down. Okay, good. And for the sensory portion, normally, what was it? For the sensory portion, I will touch different parts of your face, and you can close your eyes and just say now when you feel me touch your face.
Now, 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 now.
Okay, so that was the sensory portion. So cranial nerve 5, the trigeminal nerve, is intact. So next I would go to cranial nerve 7, the facial nerve, and I would, if you'll just make these faces with me, if you'll smile, frown, close your eyes really tight, and don't let me open them. Okay, good. And next we will lift eyebrows, and then we will puff out your cheeks. Okay, and then that was the motor portion. For the sensory portion, normally I would place something either sweet, salty, or bitter on the anterior 2/3 of your tongue, but I'm not going to do that today. So the cranial nerve 7, the facial nerve, is intact. So next I would go to cranial nerve 8, the acoustic nerve. If you'll cover one of your ears and close your eyes and just repeat back what you hear.
Jaguar.
Okay, good. And the other ear. And
Nursing.
okay, good. That is correct. So cranial nerve 8, the acoustic nerve, is intact. Next, I would go to cranial nerve 9 and 10, the glossopharyngeal and the vagus nerve. And I'm going to have you, if you'll open your mouth and say ah and stick out your tongue. Okay, the uvula is midline and it did rise on phonation. So the motor portion of this, I would normally get a tongue blade and test the gag reflex, but I'm not going to do that today. And also I would normally get something sweet, salty, sour, or bitter and place it on the posterior 1/3 of your tongue, but also I'm not going to do that today. So next, for cranial nerve 11, the spinal accessory nerve, I'm going to look at your neck and your shoulders to make sure that they are symmetrical, which they are symmetrical. And so then next I would have you, if you'll raise your shoulders, okay, resist me pulling them down, okay, good job. And then if you'll turn your head this way and resist me pushing, okay, other side, okay, good. So that means cranial nerve 11, the spinal accessory nerve, is intact. And lastly, the nerve I'm going to do is cranial nerve 12, the hypoglossal nerve. If you'll stick out your tongue so I can inspect it. Let me grab my light. Okay. Okay, it's pink and moist, and it is midline, which is normal. And then if you can say light, tight, and dynamite.
Light, tight, and dynamite.
Okay, good job. So cranial nerve 12, the hypoglossal nerve, is intact. So now we're going to go to the motor function. If you'll walk that way, just like you normally would, hands by your side. Okay, that's fine. You can stop there. And if you'll walk back heel to toe for me. Okay, good. Minimum swaying was noted. And now we're going to do the Romberg test. If you'll close your eyes, place your feet together, arms at your side, and I'm going to stand behind you in case you fall. And normally I would do this for 20 seconds. Okay, you can open your eyes. So the Romberg test was negative, which is normal. And so then next I would go on to the sensory portion. So this side is sharp and this side is dull. If I can see your arm. Okay, close your eyes and just tell me which one of them you feel.
Sharp?
Yes, it is sharp, okay?
No.
Yep, okay. So the sensory portion of that is complete. So next I would move on to the tendon reflexes. So if you'll, let me pull this chair over here for you. and you can sit down. Okay, so first I'm going to do the bicep. She's okay. Okay, good. Next I'm going to do the tricep. So if you'll dangle your arm kinda and just relax it. Okay, good. And then next I'm going to do the brachioradialis, which is going to be right here. Okay, good. And then next I will do the patellar. Which, I'll do it right here. Oh, hang on. Okay, and then next I would do the Achilles. Let me point this down some. Okay. Just right here. Okay.
Didn't say.
It's okay. And then, so all your reflexes were 2 plus, which is normal. And so then next, if you'll stand up again for me. And then if you'll, well, I guess you could have sat down. Yeah, sit back down. I forgot. Okay, if you'll curl your toes for me. Okay, that is the Babinski test, and you are negative, which is normal. Positive will be that you couldn't curl your toes. And next I'm going to explain to you the Glasgow-Coma scale, or the Glasgow-Coma scale. And the purpose is to grade your level of consciousness. The minimum you can get is a 3, the maximum you can get is a 15, and anything below 7 is considered a coma state. So I would give you a 15, I would give you 4 points for eye opening, 6 points for motor response, and 5 points for verbal response. And that concludes my neuro assessment.